How do I efficiently plan so that I can create effective instructional outcomes? In middle school, I used to play basketball, and my coach, Mr. Shea, would constantly preach fundamentals. But what I found was when things on the basketball floor started to get crazy, the first thing to fly out the window were my fundamentals. And teaching can be this way. We're charged to set instructional outcomes that are meaningful for kids. But with a million students and papers to grades and meetings to attend and administrators to please, one of the first things to fly out the window is effective planning of instructional outcomes. And so in this video, I'm gonna give you 4 tips that will help you put together effective units without taking an inordinate amount of time. And the first thing you need to do is categorize the standards you plan to assess. There's a mountain of standards and many grade level subjects, and a key part of your work is knowing what standards you plan to assess and which ones will take a backseat to the ones you prioritize. When you answer this question, you can begin to categorize standards. Craft them into cohesive units instead of treating each standard like an isolated skill. As you do, look for big ideas or essential questions that weave their way throughout the standards to help you hook your students into the standards they're going to be learning. Now, once you've organized your standards into groups or soon to be units, unpack them. Most standards focus on teaching skills or content. However, whether it's skills, content, or both, you need to get clear on what the standard is asking so you can break them into daily objectives. Now, some standards will take a day to teach. Others may take a week, but it's when you can break them down into bite-sized daily objective chunks that you can make it to the next step. And the next step is to scaffold your standards. Think of Bloom's or Mazzano's or any other taxonomy that you want to use. No matter which one you use, they nearly always place recall and basic understanding at the lowest level of learning and capitulate with analyzing, evaluating, and creating. As you look through your standards, scaffold your daily objectives so they unfold in a sequence, but also in a way that escalates up the taxonomy. Your unit may need to start with some recall and identification, but it certainly shouldn't end there. Rigor sets in when a student is asked to analyze, evaluate, and create with the skills and content they've learned. Now at this point, you've categorized the standards, you've unpacked them into daily objectives, and you've scaffolded them into a logical, escalating sequence. This is the submerged part of the iceberg. And it's only when you have this that you can truly design effective assessments. Now, an assessment shouldn't be a surprise. Instead, they should be designed to capture whether or not the students understand the standards at a high level. Nothing more, nothing less. And to help make this process fair, create rubrics that detail what mastery looks like and what beginning looks like, and everything in between. Now, with the development of AI, what used to take weeks to do can now be done in seconds, but it's important that when you feed this into AI and it generates out an outcome, that you analyze it and look at it to make sure it accurately measures what you've taught. Now finally, by thoughtfully categorizing, unpacking, and scaffolding your standards, the assessments, rubrics, and lesson plans will write themselves. They'll fall right into place. And when you invest the effort up front, your unit will flow cohesively. On the other hand, straying from these fundamentals often means that each of these tips will be tackled in the reverse direction, causing each step to drift further and further from a unified, purposeful learning experience.